Classes and said, I got to sit ringside to see this guy.
Let's bring the sister behind. Sister and brother.
Hey, both of my shit.
We'll get you right back to sports.
And Shakur Stevenson, honestly, he's one of the, like, I don't watch boxing too much, you know, but I actually watch him, bro. He's such a fucking great technician in the ring. You know, he's a great southpaw. His range, the way he holds distance, it's for someone like me.
Stay at 30 to claim everything. Yeah. You guys are going too ahead. You know, let him do his thing. Let him. He knows what he's doing. He's got a great support team, man. He got great friends.
Like a star making a performance that you wanted to see from him.
I'm gotta have it. Yeah, good job. Hey,
Yeah.
We'll see. Hopefully I get a phone call in the next day or two.
Yeah.
For some reason I did see yesterday that Oscar De La Hoya don't want Schofield to fight. So
if they got something to say about it, hey, it is what it is, you know. So whenever those fights happen, we'll see what the reactions will be in those fights, you know. So if they see flaw in this performance, you know what I mean. The guy was actually tougher than what a lot of people, you know, gave him his props for, or people really was sleeping on the guy, you know. He was an Olympian, you know, so you know, he had a lot of awkward style, you know. He had power. The guys they fighting, they ain't got no power, so I ain't even worried about what they talking about.
Get him up out of there for the 6th round. That's not how we.
I don't even know if you would let somebody come in the ring look at you like that and not go back to him.
Oh,
hey,
no.
The way I seen that little kid walk out that ring, when he was looking at him like, I dare you to walk over here. Even if I'm scared, I'm walking over there. Just to show you. Yeah. I didn't like that.
Yeah. And to me, you know, that ref just missed everything. It was just a horrible display of fouls that you were just like, what is going on here? But again, nothing against Shakur, but man, you gotta.
Keep that going, man. Hey, real talk, you having a good time though?
Just as a fan, what would be Shakur's value as a free agent? Like,
do what they give me, $2 million. That's where his value is at. My value should be on the opposite end, but hey, he got to.
Shakur Stevenson has officially defeated William Zepeda, and with that win, a lot of conversations that swirled before the fight are now being looked at in a different light. The matchup had been talked about for months, and the pressure wasn't just on Stevenson to win, it was on him to prove something. There were criticisms coming in from all angles about his fighting style, his willingness to engage, and whether he could handle a volume puncher like Zepeda. This was more than just another title defense. It was a test of his ability to deliver on the expectations placed on someone already being compared to the likes of Floyd Mayweather and Pernell Whitaker. Before the fight, Oscar De La Hoya, who promoted Zepeda, was vocal in his belief that Zepeda could pull off the upset. He pointed out that pressure and output can break down even the best technicians, drawing comparisons to Mayweather's early struggle with Jose Luis Castillo. Oscar wasn't just selling the fight. He genuinely believed Zepeda's relentless pace would force Stevenson out of his comfort zone and disrupt his rhythm. That prediction didn't come true, and it's worth noting because De La Hoya wasn't the only one who thought Zepeda had the style to cause real problems. Shakur's own trainer, Greg Hackett, wasn't dismissive of Zepeda either. He had gone on record before the bout saying Zepeda was durable, active, and a real test, acknowledging the challenge without downplaying Stevenson's own skill set. That kind of measured tone said a lot. It wasn't a fight Team Stevenson was taking lightly. Tim Bradley was one of the louder voices supporting Stevenson going in, calling the matchup a potential massacre if Stevenson pressed the action and used his timing effectively. Bradley's point wasn't that Zepeda was a bad fighter, but that Stevenson had levels Zepeda hadn't seen yet. That idea played heavily into pre-fight discussions around whether Stevenson would be willing to walk forward more, throw combinations, and fight in a way that silenced claims that he was too defensive or too cautious. Teofimo Lopez added another layer to the conversation when he said this fight could become 50-50ths if Stevenson didn't let his hands go. That was a real concern, especially with the way Zepeda overwhelms opponents over the course of a fight. Stevenson had been criticized in the past for being overly economical, and Teofimo's comments reflected a common sentiment among fight fans and other fighters. Talent alone wasn't enough anymore. Shakur had to entertain too. Eddie Hearn wasn't making predictions on the winner, but he emphasized that Stevenson needed this fight to prove something about his star power. Hearn said Shakur should be a superstar, and that this was the kind of matchup where he could show the world why. It was a sentiment echoed by others like Lou DiBella, who noted before the fight that this was the perfect opportunity for Stevenson to dominate and deliver a defining moment. There was no question that everyone saw this bout as pivotal, not just for Stevenson's career trajectory, but for the perception around him. Chris Algieri and Paulie Malignaggi both talked extensively about how Stevenson had the skill to take the fight away from Zepeda by controlling distance and tempo. They focused on how pressure fighters lose their effectiveness when they can't find the target and are forced to reset. That's where they thought Stevenson would have the edge. And even though the discussion wasn't about picking winners, their breakdowns made it clear who they saw as the more complete fighter. Online, a lot of fight fans had started to frame the bout as a credibility check. Not whether Stevenson was good, his skills were never in question, but whether he would show more variety, more aggression, and more willingness to stay in range and mix it up. Articles on sites like Boxing Scene pointed out how Stevenson's reputation was on the line as much as his title. They talked about how pressure was coming not just from Zepeda, but from figures like Turki Al-Sheikh, who had made it known he expected a different kind of performance. Fans were tired of seeing Shakur dominate without much drama, and there was a clear push, subtle but persistent, for him to shift gears. This win doesn't erase every criticism, but it does shift the tone. There's a sense that Shakur Stevenson didn't just win a fight, he cleared a narrative that's been attached to him for a long time. Zepeda wasn't some fringe contender. He was undefeated, physically strong, and one of the most active punchers in the division. The fact that so many people, trainers, analysts, promoters, thought this could be the fight to expose Stevenson, or at least give him major trouble, shows how seriously the challenge was taken. Now, after the result, you can already feel the reevaluation starting. Tim Bradley's prediction feels validated. Teofimo Lopez's warning about being too cautious now sounds more like a hypothetical. Oscar De La Hoya's upset call, while bold, didn't play out. Even critics are admitting that Stevenson stepped up when he needed to. The pressure was real and he didn't fold. He didn't hide behind a safe game plan or cruise to a forgettable win. Whatever the details of the fight were, the narrative that existed before is what's being settled now, and it's falling in Stevenson's favor. This wasn't just about belts or rankings, it was about perception. And with this win, Stevenson might have done more to change how people talk about him than in any fight prior. The matchup with Zepeda gave everyone a reason to doubt, to wonder if he could adapt to a style he hadn't really faced. And the result confirms that the gap between Stevenson and most of the division is still very real. What did you think of the fight? Share your thoughts below and subscribe for more.